Hello, everybody. Coming at you from up here at my favorite little neck of the woods, and there's a couple of things I want to walk around and talk about and show you. Uh, Today's a decently cool day. It's humid, but it's fixing to rain, as you can probably see by the sky. That I have heard from a local who's lived here for many, many years. That was part of the original home structure that was here, and the home structure sat here with the porch facing over the road. So its front door was opposite of me here. You'd be looking at the front door from the road, and it was just an old plantation house, I believe is what they said it. That's how they described it. But it was right here. Mine is probably going to be where that burn pile is, or back in the woods over there. And that's something I'll show you right after I show you this well house. Look at all the free flowing fresh water that's getting wasted right here. That would be an amazing way right there to cut out one bill every month. Because it is literally always wet. I'm starting to sink in here when I'm driving in. It is always wet right here. But yeah, that's a very, very good well. And I can pump it right out of there, I reckon. I think that's how they've got it. But it's leaking all out because it's untapped. All this water is just coming straight out of the ground. So if it's a freshwater spring, I don't see any problem in, running my toilets and my sinks and stuff like that with it, because I don't really drink tap water all that much anyway. But if I do decide to drink tap water, I can always buy a purifier and run the water through the purifier, and then that'd probably be the most healthy water that you ever drank. Because let's face it, in today's world, they put so many chemicals in stuff like bottled water and stuff like that it really don't need. I mean, I don't know how many times I've bought a bottle of water and it's tasted like chlorine, just pure chlorine. Alright, so I'm on the road coming up, and as I watch for snakes, I'm going to come back here and show you something that I find pretty neat. I can either put a house there, or there is the leveled spot that I was talking about from the other property is right down there. Basically right here. Because if you look hard enough, right down there is the other piece. And then this curls and goes up a pretty steep hill. I know this doesn't give it justice, but it gets really, really steep right there. But I've had the Explorer to right there, and that's as far as I've gone. Because I don't know. Well, I had my son with me, and I didn't want to start doing stuff like that with him strapped in the back seat in case something went wrong. But man could cut him a road in right here, and that'll go right straight to the other property. So in there somewhere I could put a cabin, and then this would be where I'm at. Completely off the grid, completely away from the road. And I can keep an eye out for whoever's coming up and down from this spot too. But there shouldn't be anybody coming up and down this road other than us. So I'm thinking that someday might do something back in there. I don't know. But just for ease and cost efficiency and all this stuff, I'm thinking right where the Explorer's sitting, right behind it, putting me either a single wide, double wide trailer. I don't want nothing big, so it'd probably be a real short, stubby, single wide trailer. If I can find one that just has 2 beds and a bath. But for the time being, down on the other land, I will probably have a camper on the other land. So as this place is getting set up, I'm going to live 100% off the grid and frugal, because I'm not going to dig a septic here and dig a septic over there. So I'm going to have to do my thing. I want to pump water from that well and cut down that bill. If I can get water from that well, that'll save me a lot of money a month. The only thing that I'll be paying for every month is property rent, and I guess what they're doing is a rent to own deal for me. I don't know. If you know my family, you know they don't really just come right out and say stuff like that. They'll say, you can rent it from me, and you can live there as long as you want to, but if you find yourself something else you want to buy or whatever, it's not going to hurt our feelings. But why would I move from right here? Once I get this all set up and cleaned up and smoothed down and gated, fenced, why would I leave here? And that's what I told them. They said, well, you're welcome to stay there as long as you want to stay there. So I'm hoping someday maybe a big portion of this part right here gets put in my name. Someday, maybe. If I pay for it for years and years and years, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't do that, but the other property down the road is probably just going to be a garage that me and my stepdad share. He wants a place to put stuff, and I want a place to weld. So I'll say it's awful pretty here. But when the sun comes out, there ain't a whole lot of shade. So that's a thing. Yeah. Brought my weed eater, so I'm probably going to do a little bit of weed eating. But shorter videos, because there's not a whole awful lot to see. Just know that whatever is going to be more cost efficient for me is what I'm going to do. If I can find a nice double wide trailer that's $3,500, $4,000, which is possible, that don't need completely rebuilt, I'll just buy it and stick it right here, and that'll be home for however long I decide to make it home for, which will probably be forever, because I'm not going to want to give all this up. I'm not going to want to give that driveway up. And the fact that there's woods all the way around me and all the way down through there. There's the old barn. That structure you see right there is that old barn that's pretty much right across the road from the other property. So these two pieces kind of intersect closely. It just don't seem that close. But I could probably walk, if I cared to, down to the other land. But I don't really care to. When I've got my Jeep, that's going to be basically going to be my Jeep when it's all said and done. I'm buying myself a gas-saving car. It's probably going to be one of the strangest things you ever seen a redneck like me drive, because if it's a Honda Civic, it's a Honda Civic. Whatever's cheap, affordable, runs good, and saves gas, that's what I'm going to buy. That does not save gas, but I'm not willing to get rid of it. I'm very partial to it. I want to put a bull bar on it and make it where I can pull and push trailers from the front, put a winch on it. Just make it my Jeep, to use around here on the property for certain things and go up in the mountains. Because when I buy a truck, my truck is just going to be for truck things. I like everything having a purpose. I don't know if that's OCD or what they call that, or just straight up being a weirdo, but I like everything having a purpose. And my truck don't have to be four-wheel drive. I don't want a four-wheel drive truck. As long as it is a long bed, single cab Ford, that's all. That's all I'm looking for. Car wise, I wouldn't care to buy me another one of them Dodge Darts. But either way, it's going to have to be a four-door, and it's going to have good air conditioner, because that's what my family vehicle is going to be. Whenever I retire that as a family vehicle, that's what I'm buying. But that thing right there is all-wheel drive, goes like a tank. So it's going to remain my get out when it's snowing, get up in the mountains, stuff like that kind of vehicle. But I might go right out there. I'm pointing toward the well house when I'm pointing toward that. But I'm going to go right out there and do a little bit of weed whacking. And we'll talk to everybody later, and I hope you enjoy what's going on here. Really like this place. It's historical. And I'm a history buff. So that's the reason that I like it so much. And the other part down there is historical too, because a church was there. And then some old timers that I'll probably never meet had a house right here, homesteaded here for many years. I mean, I'm talking homesteaded. That was their well house. At one point, they had a crapper house. We call it an outhouse. And then they had just a simple little cabin style house right here, with the porch facing over the road. It's funny how crazy the world changes. Because I would live that way too if it wasn't illegal, They've got the world in such a predicament that it's illegal to live frugal like that in many parts of the world. They find me doing it with my kid, they'll take my kid. That's the reason, mainly, that I don't do it. There's always something in the woods up there. But we'll talk to everybody later. Bye-bye.